get some celebrity sleaze with Leslie Fram.
This is kind of big news if you're a Game of Thrones fan. Yeah, HBO is developing a sequel starring Arya Stark. You didn't know her, Barnes. You didn't watch.
I didn't watch
Macy
ever.
Williams. But here was the interesting thing. Yeah, they are in very early development, and George R.R. Martin is not commenting. But Jon Snow, you know who he is, obviously. Kit Harington.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was pushing for this really dark take. He wanted to be a broken man with PTSD. He wanted to build cabins only to burn them down. And HBO was like, no, dude, that is too dark. And finally, Kit Harington said, no one's ever going to be satisfied with a sequel. He also said, when asked if he would do one, no, God, no, I don't want to go anywhere near it. I spent 10 years doing that. Thanks. I'm all right. I don't know if you ever saw stories after Game of Thrones, but Kit Harington basically said he went into a depression because, it was hard to do that show. Obviously, the weather, all the elements, and it really did something to his mental health. So let's see what happens. Guess who's not on social media? Ben Affleck. Well, here's the reason why.
At all?
At all.
That kind of surprises me that he's not on there. Especially with all the things that they have going on. I mean, I guess everyone else has
about
them.
The Ben and Jen stuff, the Bennifer stuff. Come on.
He's a target.
Give you a lot of answers about that. But the truth is, I just know I get in trouble. You know what I mean? And I
get in trouble too.
Yeah, man. I mean, I got in enough trouble in my life to know, and I do. I like to talk, and I have opinions, and then I think I learned early on as I've been around and been through a couple cycles of up and down. That's also like sometimes people don't want to hear all that much from from actors, and that there is a level that's kind of appropriate. But honestly, that's kind of too. The truth is, I don't want to deal with the backlash of something all the time. And what I see from people that do it, even people that do it well, it's a huge amount of work. Because all of a sudden, I just see people sweating. I got to post something. I got to get something up there, and I'm like, you're putting this whole other job on top of what you're doing.
Good job, bro. It took a couple. It takes a couple years off your life.
Good point.
It's not going unseen by me in the last 3 weeks. This has been a very different Ben Affleck.
Yeah, with Matt Damon. I mean, they're all over the place. But I have to say that Matt Damon was talking about how Netflix is changing the movie business. This made so much sense and a lot of truth in what he said.
You're watching in a room, the lights are on, other shit's going on, the kids are running around, the dogs are running around, whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's just a very different level of attention that you're willing to, or that you're able to give to it. And that has a big effect. And it also ends up having an effect, or is starting to have an effect on how you make movies. Like, for instance, Netflix, the standard way to make an action movie that we learned was, you usually have like 3 set pieces, one in the first act, one in the second, one in the third, and they kind of ramp up, and the big one with all the explosions, and you spend most of your money on that one in the third act. That's your kind of finale. And now they're like, can we get a big one in the first 5 minutes to get somebody? We want people to stay tuned in, and it wouldn't be terrible if you reiterated the plot 3 or 4 times in the dialogue, because people are on their phones while they're watching, you know what I mean?
Oh, no.
And so then it's going to really start to infringe on how we're telling the story.
Which could be the reason why I didn't like The Rip. It would be like there'd be a stack of money, and they were going, do you see that money? I see that money right there. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of in-your-face restating.
Well, what he's saying is true about having to repeat the plot over and over again. And how people watch now on their phones?
100%. We all do it. My point about Ben Affleck, though, was that he's being nice to promote. Let's see how long it is before he's back to punching paparazzis. You know what I mean? Like,
you mean how long this will last?
Yeah, he's been real sweet. And you can tell he's having to dig deep to get there.
You made a comment about that new Ashton Kutcher movie, having comparisons to his ex-wife Demi Moore's movie. He's actually addressing the similarities now. Kind of the first time he's even brought up Demi Moore in ages.
Well, what I would argue is, and I would ask you to listen for, is he? Listen to the question and listen to his answer.
There's early comparisons to The Substance. Do you see that?
I mean, one, Demi's performance, obviously she got extraordinary accolades. I'm so proud of her. She, killed it. The bigger context, though, is, cosmetic enhancement is becoming, increasingly, predominant and accepted. I started modeling when I was, 19. And what I realized really quickly is, everybody had an insecurity. You look in the mirror long enough, you'll find something you don't like, or that you think could be better, or you think could be different. Rhinoplasty or transplants or whatever it is, there's like a social acceptance of like, that makes that person feel happy. And that's what matters more than any aesthetic outcome. And sometimes these things come with unintended consequences. And I think that that's the other piece of the puzzle.
Is it me or did he not answer the question?
He didn't answer it at all. He went around in circles.
He ran from the question, which answers everything for me.
Timothy Busfield has been removed from Amazon MGM film. Of course, you know why, called You Deserve Each Other due to these allegations. But here's the crazy part. Now, this new audio that's been released, 2 child actors that accused him of inappropriate touching. These are audio recordings from the interviews that police did in the very beginning.
Yeah, yesterday was a crazy hearing in court. You had the one actress who came forward and said that the parents of these children threatened retaliation because they were let go. That's an interesting one. And also the defense attorney they were going through just ripping things apart so much that Busfield went from having no bond, they're like, nope, no bond, to now no bond, meaning he's free to walk until trial. Man, a huge victory for the defense today. And yeah, here's that audio. These are the kids a year ago when they came forward.
You know what's right and wrong, right?
Yeah.
You know no one could touch your private areas?
Yeah, but he doesn't touch them.
Doesn't touch your private parts? Okay. And you know what's right and wrong, right? You know where people can't touch, where people can't do... Yeah, you know that, right? Does Tim ever do that?
No, he's never touched me.
Never touched you?
Yeah.
In your private areas, right?
Yeah.
Never did that?
Never.
Yeah. Okay.
And then a year later, everything changed.
Yeah, so how does that happen? So a year passes.
I don't know.
And
It's
they
like,
get
were they coached? Did they sit down with, a trained professional?
Ooh,
probably,
man.
not the police.
There's so much darkness in that story.
A lot of darkness. And what if he's innocent? I know you saw this. The NFL announced that Green Day would be performing during an opening ceremony, of course, at the upcoming Super Bowl at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. During the performance, the band will help usher generations of Super Bowl MVPs onto the field. Billy Joe said, we are super hyped to open Super Bowl 60 right in our backyard. That was smart.
Yeah, that's good. The pregame, they've had some legendary bands on those pregame shows. Halftime, not so digging. That'll be a volume downer for me. I don't need Bad Bunny. Thanks.
And keeping on the musical note, Flea is announcing his debut solo album, tour, and new song with none other than Tom York. That is so cool. Honora, March the 27th. I obviously cannot wait to hear this. I guess it's got jazz influence, but, Flea hasn't put out a solo record in years. So get ready for Flea and Tom York.
What's Tom York doing?
He says that it's a new song with Tom York
that's
coming
sing
out.
Or
yeah,
compose?
ringing in the new year. The song is called Traffic Lights. It was co-written with Tom York. That is your Celebrity Sleaze.
Get ready for The Rush with Max Crosby.
If it was going to happen, why not this year?
All-pro defensive end Max Crosby takes you beyond the field with exclusive insights.
I love when people sleep, uncertain people, because you just know they're going to make everyone look stupid.
Moments everyone's talking about.
Hit 5 in a row, brother. We're going to the Pro Bowl again.
Come on, baby!
Been through a lot, and we're just getting rolling.
The Rush.
It's a roller coaster of emotions.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.